Good afternoon from Wembley Stadium, where the FA Cup final takes place between Chelsea and Manchester United. Kick-off just 25 minutes away. Good afternoon from Wembley, and what a atmosphere that the teams are going to hit at about 5:15 when the teams walk out of the tunnel here at Wembley. A terrific atmosphere. Two teams that have met twice before in the FA Cup final. Last time being 2007 when Chelsea won the battle by a goal to nil. Jose Mourinho was Chelsea manager then. That was 11 years ago, and before that in 1994 Manchester United were FA Cup winners. On that occasion they beat a Chelsea side 4-0 on the afternoon. We'll bring you all the build up that matters. Abide with me. We'll have all the national anthems. We'll have everything. We'll have everything for you in this little build-up towards the big kick-off at 5:15. The tension here is building. We'll bring you the two lineups in just a second, and then obviously we'll give you a quick recap on what happens a bit later on. But a marvellous occasion here as the crowd build up here for this FA Cup final. And well, Chelsea were involved, of course, last year. Will they do it this year? And the Scottish. Now let me bring you the two lineups. First of all, so Chelsea lineup, very strong lineup. Thibaut Courtois is preferred to Cavallero in goal, and then it's Azpilicueta, Cahill, winning out Moses. Then it's Fabregas, Kante, Bakayoko, Alonso, Hazard and Giroud on the bench. Of course, along with Caballero, the keeper, you've got Barkley, Morata, Pedro, Zabacosta, Willian and Chalobah. And then you've got for Manchester United, De Gea in goal. Again, a big goalkeeper being used. Then it's Valencia, Smalling, Jones and Young, the back four. Herrera, Matic, Pogba, Lingard, Rashford getting the nod, and Sanchez. No place in the starting 11 for Romelu Lukaku. He's on the bench alongside Eric Bailly, Juan Mata, Anthony Martial and Romero, the goalkeeper, Darmian and McTominay. The referee today is Michael Oliver from County Durham, and so we're waiting to start this final.
That's happened, no problem. I like this kind of thing because it's like,
and of course in something like 5-10 minutes time we'll have the traditional singing of the FA Cup final hymn, Abide With Me. Always one of the most emotional occasions. We also have a theme for this year's final, of course, the great national great anthem as well, English anthem, Jerusalem. You may have heard it at the start of the broadcast. The FA Cup final has a special place in people's hearts. Of course, there was the royal wedding earlier today, and we have to send our congratulations to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who got married at Windsor Castle this afternoon. And congratulations to them, and I hope they have a fantastic reception. Of course, Prince William isn't going to be there this year because obviously he's the best man to Prince Harry, so he's not going to be present this year. But there is so there's going to be no royal representation at the FA Cup final, which to me sours it a little bit. But we do have the opportunity here now. Now, obviously, with no being royalty here, we do have Jackie Wilkins is the guest of honour today. She's the widow, of course, of former Manchester United and Chelsea player Ray Wilkins. He died only last month. And she will be presented to the teams at the start of the game, and then we'll at something like 7:30 tonight, all being well, we'll give the trophy to this year's winning captain, or whoever wins the cup today. Big atmosphere, massive atmosphere, and a nice touch there to invite Jackie Wilkins there. Ray Wilkins, of course, won the late great Ray Wilkins, who won the cup himself back in 1983. So a marvellous opportunity, and it's Chelsea's second successive final, as we saw last year. Arsenal winning that one. Now, if Chelsea were to win, they would actually qualify automatically for the Europa League next season, because Manchester United, group phase that is, because Manchester United have already qualified for the Champions League. And of course the winners of that will play Man City in the season's massive curtain raiser, of course, the FA Community Shield in August. So just to remind you of the routes to the final, Chelsea got through after 2 goals against Norwich City. The first game ended 0-0 at Carrow Road, and then a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge in a replay which had a lot of VAR controversy. In the end, they prevailed 5-3 on penalties, but it was a close one. Bing Norwich were very unlucky that night. In the fourth round at home to Newcastle, no such problems. Benitez's side were brushed aside 3-0, and Hull were breezed aside in the next round. A terrific game that we covered in the quarter-finals. A terrific match at the King Power between themselves and Leicester City, with Chelsea prevailing 2-1 on that afternoon, and then Southampton in the semi-final dispatched 2-0, and that also ensured that Burnley, who finished 7th in the Premier League, got into Europe as well. As for Manchester United, no such problems in the third or fourth rounds. They dispatched Derby County at Old Trafford 2-0, then Yeovil at Hewich Park 4-0. Huddersfield Town, it was a tough game, but there was more VAR controversy, but they got through 2-0. In the quarter-final, we also covered as well. Brighton and Hove Albion were easily beaten 2-0. And then in the semi-final that we also covered against Spurs at Wembley, they came from one goal down to beat Spurs 2-1. And that's how what happened. And a traditional performance of Abide With Me will be sung by the Royal Air Force, of course. A terrific atmosphere here for Wembley for a cup final, which has got all the hallmarks of being a classic. And let's hope that is the case this afternoon. And I have to tell you that this is a fabulous occasion, and let's hear from one or two of the star names. Paul Pogba, big game for him. Jesse Lingard obviously called up into the England squad. Marcus Rashford, of course, in the England squad as well. And of course, you guys, as usual, we do have VAR should we require it. So kind of ties that we covered, there's not been a need for VAR. So we wait with bated breath here at Wembley Stadium this afternoon. But I can tell you that the atmosphere is absolutely building around this stadium, and I can't wait for the game to kick off. It's a marvellous occasion. It's just unbelievable. We've got a magnificent final in prospect. So, as I said, the third time they've met. 2 penalties from Cantona, 1 from Hughes and 1 from Brian McClair. Won the 94 final in spectacular style for Alex Ferguson's men to complete the double. And let's hear from 1 or 2 key men today. Paul Pogba, former Manchester United player, of course, into his first time now, but he's back again this time, and he's got experience of winning trophies, Pogba. But here he is, just going through a montage now, and a terrific player on his day. Let's hear him now in the build-up to the final.
To change myself? Yeah. Yeah. In some point, yeah, because you cannot be the same with everybody. You cannot trust everybody. You know, you learn. You can have things with agents. You can have things with friends. Like, people will tell you that you change, stuff like that. But the most important is you think about the people that you make happy, and the people that look up to you, the kids and stuff like that. And to be honest, then after the rest, you don't really mind.
J'ai organisé un tournoi l'année dernière ici au club. Et il est venu. Il devait passer que quelques minutes. Il est resté toute l'après-midi. Les grandes personnes qui étaient les enfants ce jour-là.
FA Cup final. If you then put that with the Europa League and the League Cup, is that a good first couple of years, or are you not satisfied?
You cannot say it's a bad season when you win titles. You can play the best football. That is true. You know, we want to enjoy the play and stuff like that. You can enjoy the football and stuff, but if you don't win, it's good for the eyes. That's why we say it's good for the eyes, but it doesn't make you win anything, you know?
Given how much time you spent in this city, are you French first and Mancunian second, or Mancunian first and French second?
I am French, but I would say I'm international. That's what I say. I'm international. I'm not only French. I have the passport French, the ID French, but I have the driving license English. So, you know.
Because I sense from the fans when I'm at Old Trafford, you are one of their own.
I mean, I've been there in academy, loving the club and everything. So when you're Mancunian once, you're Mancunian forever, you know? It's the same. It's like that.
Quick interview there with Paul Pogba out on the field, but there is an atmosphere building, and it's a terrific atmosphere here at Wembley this afternoon. And I just get the sense and occasion here as the players have been warming up out on that field, and now they've all gone back into the tunnel ready to hopefully start today's crucial final. Kick-off in just over 20 minutes time, and there'll be a lot of onus on Paul Pogba, who hasn't really brought anything to the table so far this season. He has shown one or two glimpses of the player that he can be, but the only problem with Pogba is at this moment in time he hasn't really stepped up to the plate. But I think he's got the opportunity here. I think he has the possibility here, and I honestly think if he does well today, I think there's going to be a fantastic ovation for him. The FA Cup is the only silverware on offer for both Chelsea and Manchester United this season. Manchester United won it 2 years ago against Crystal Palace, who held the lead, who took the lead initially. A very thoughtful Jose Mourinho, up and coloured, no tie on today. Looking around and taking it all in. He's been there so many times in cup finals in his Chelsea days and Manchester United. He won the Carabao competition here last year. Wembley decked out in brilliant sunshine, and this is the big event of the day. Forget the royal wedding, but this is all about the FA Cup final day as I remember it. You wake up in the morning, your cornflakes are out already. You eat your cornflakes and you watch the 6-hour build up to the final, and there's still a few empty seats there, but people are starting to make their way in at the moment before the build up.
What you're going to get?
A terrific final in prospect, and I can't wait to get started on this, folks. I think it's going to be an absolute classic, and I hope you're going to enjoy this at home. I should tell you that the traditional singing of Abide With Me will be performed by the choir of the RAF and 14 individual fans from 14 different clubs, and a flypast by 3 RAF Typhoon aircraft. And of course the national anthem, the God Save the Queen one, will be performed by Emily Haig, and she also did that at the Women's FA Cup final just 3 weeks ago as well. So absolutely superb. What we've got in store today, I think, is going to be absolutely amazing. So a terrific final in prospect here, and I can hardly wait as the FA Cup comes towards the centre circle. Rio Ferdinand bringing out the trophy alongside Frank Lampard, and this is what it's all about. The glorious piece of silver. And my word, what a final we're in for here today. I can't wait, as we're all set to continue here with one of the most emotional moments surely in any FA Cup final. It's been an FA Cup final hymn for since going back to post-war. And that is, of course, Abide With Me, as we await the arrival, and we start to build up now to the traditional singing of the FA Cup final hymn, a firm Wembley favourite for so many years, of course, the singing of Abide With Me. And I think it's absolutely brilliant as the cup is placed on the plane with a terrific firework display there, pyrotechnics and everything else. The FA Cup final is building up to a real crescendo now. I hope you can enjoy it with us on the JB Claret YouTube channel, and if you want to add your opinions to this, you can do on the comment section on the right hand side of the screen. But we're all set. I think we're all nearly set now for the traditional cup final here as the fireworks and pyrotechnics go off here at Wembley Stadium. Two terrific teams ready to get going here. I think this is going to be an absolute humdinger of a final, and I for one cannot wait. Chelsea, and of course the teams will be presented by Jackie Wilkins, of course, widow of the late former England and Manchester United man who won the cup with Manchester United as a player in '83, and of course won it with Ancelotti, of course, in 2010. And look at that, Ray Wilkins there. What a tribute to a great player, a legend of the game. And they're giving it a good round of applause. And I hope when Jackie Wilkins comes out to do the as the guest of honour here today, I hope she gets a marvellous reception as well. Ray Wilkins served both clubs. He served Chelsea as a youngster for many years, and then he went to Manchester United and had great success. And what a legend of the game. Of course, he represented England with courage and with the heart of a lion, and that is just unbelievable. Butch Wilkins only died last month. It's very hard to come to terms with. He's only 61 years old, but he's been remembered in a fantastic spirit by both Chelsea and Manchester United. 737 teams started this year. FA Cup trial. About 737 teams down to the one. And what an atmosphere it's going to be here as we hear the traditional singing of Abide With Me. Well, it is very poignant, of course, an FA Cup final of this magnitude, and well, we're just going to take a couple of minutes and then we'll be back with the teams coming out in just a few moments. The teams have just come out to a magnificent reception. Welcome back to Wembley. As the teams will be presented, as I said, to Jackie Wilkins. Of course, Ray Wilkins is widow. There's Greg Gart, the chairman of the football. Well, I said chairman. He used to be chairman of the Football League, didn't he? He's now chairman of the FA. Of course, Martin Glenn amongst that presentation party as well. Jackie Wilkins will be receiving the cup, but will not, I think, not be going through. As Olivier Giroud there, Cesc Fabregas, won it against Manchester United in 2005 and then lost his medal, so he's determined to win it today to replace the medal he lost back in 2005. Thibaut Courtois, the big 6'5" goalkeeper, who hasn't had the best this season. Gary Cahill, of course, the Chelsea captain. And Antonio Conte's future at the club still seems to be in doubt up until now, but there's also going to be a nice bit of sportsmanship there between himself and Jose Mourinho as Antonio Valencia goes through there. David De Gea, the goalkeeper. And the smoke just lifted up here at Wembley faction here as the teams are presented. Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Jesse Lingard now a part of England's World Cup squad alongside Marcus Rashford. Ashley Young made the squad as well. Paul Pogba, a big game really needed from him in the midfield. Sanchez, who turned the game in the semi-final, of course, against Tottenham. And now could he do the same here in the final? He's won the cup before in Arsenal colours. Could he do the same here today? Now we're going to get the national anthem to be sung, of course, in just a moment or two by Emily Haig. And as soon as we get that opportunity, we'll go straight for the national anthem. And that'll be sung by Emily Haig. Waiting there to receive when to start up.
So on this special day,
so we're still waiting to do the national anthem, as I said, which will be sung, of course, by beautifully dressed Emily Haig on the day, of course, where Prince Harry got married, of course, at Windsor Castle today. Still waiting for Emily Haig to start proceedings. I think Emily Haig will be definitely nervous by the sound of it as well. There she is in a beautiful gold dress. Big smile on her face there. Hopefully now we'll hear the national anthem.
there is going to be a fly pass.
In fact, there's going to be a fly pass, of course, in just a second or two. I think that's what they're waiting on here at Wembley. Meanwhile, Omar says hello again, JB. Great to hear from your commentary once again. Hope Manchester United will win it. Come on, Manchester United. And of course, if you want to comment, you can do. And I think that's what's the hold up is. I think now the national anthem. Here's Emily Haig. Beautifully sung, terrific, fantastic, and there's pyrotechnics as well. Russ is on. He messaged me this morning saying, are you doing the cup final today? You bet I was. There's a fantastic view of Wembley from the drone there, and spreading out towards, I think, is it Windsor Castle? over there, but the two teams shake their hands, the customary handshake. So let's give you the full important team list for today's final, the FA Cup final of 2018. We're going to start, of course, with Chelsea, and their goalkeeper is Thibaut Courtois, so the regular goalkeeper is on the bench. As for Quetta and Kao and Runningo are going to play as the back three. 5 in the midfield with Moses Bakayoko, Kanté in the centre, and Fabregas and Alonso, and it's Eden Hazard alongside Olivier Giroud up front. So it's going to be a 3-5-2 formation. On the bench, Caballero, Barkley, Morata, Pedro, amongst others. Manchester United with De Gea in goal. A back four is Valencia, Smalling, Jones and Young. So a back four for Mourinho's men. 3 in the midfield with Herrera, Matic and Pogba. Lingard, Rashford and Sanchez up front. And on the bench, of course, we got Anthony Martial and Romelu Lukaku and Juan Mata amongst the 7 nominated substitutes by Manchester United this afternoon. So we're all set to go. Now we wait for the toss of the coin from referee Michael Oliver from County Durham or Northumberland. Big moment for him. One of the great referees, although no English referee is going to be at the World Cup, which starts, of course, on this YouTube channel in just under a month's time from now. And I honestly think what a terrific final we're going to be in for here today. And a terrific atmosphere, there's no doubt about that. There's the whole thing has been choreographed. There was the flyover, of course, and we're all set to get underway then. And we're underway then. 22. We're just waiting on Michael Oliver, the referee, and off we go. So up we go in the cup final. We've got about 30 seconds in fact, and here comes Bakayoko. So away we go. We had a little bit of technical problems, but the referee's got us underway now on the appointed hour. This is Bakayoko, Manchester United attacking the goal to our right, Chelsea to the left. The FA Cup final is away, and the early ball back to Gary Cahill. Now running it, getting his first touch of the game. We have 1 or 2 technical problems, but we are live with you now as Thibaut Courtois in an all orange goalkeeping jersey gets the ball away. And of course, Celtic more or less completing the Scottish treble today with a comfortable victory over Motherwell in the Scottish FA Cup final. We'll bring you more on that at half time as Alonso breaks down on the near side, and it was tripped short there by Ander Herrera, and Mr. Oliver from County Durham giving the first free kick against Manchester United. Always going to be a tough ask this for referees. They've got to try and referee sensibly. I think Michael Oliver must do that. It's a showpiece of the year, the final domestic game of the season. Well, it's top flight game of the season. I know there are the playoff finals to come a week today, and the European Cup final coming up, of course, as Fabregas plays that in from the left hand side with an easy take there for David De Gea in a Manchester United goal. We've had 2 minutes here at Wembley, and 0-0 is the score, and Alonso can't keep that in, and it will be a throw-in to Manchester United. Well, there's the manager. A lot of talk about his future. They failed to qualify for the Champions League. Spurs took that 4th spot ahead of them. They finished 5th ahead of Arsenal, who finished 6th. But a real opportunity then for them to start the Europa League in the group phase if they were to win the famous old cup today. It's a great atmosphere inside this stadium as Matic takes possession now for Manchester United. 0-0 here in the 2018 FA Cup final, of course in association with Emirates. Michael Oliver, in point of fact, he's 33 years old. And of course we've got VAR as well. Just to remind you of the officials: Ian Hussein from Liverpool and Lee Betts from Norfolk, and the 4th official, of course, is Lee Mason from Bolton, and Constantine Adakidis is from Kent is the It's the fifth official today, and a VAR referee is Neil Swarbrick from Lancashire. Just to make you aware of the officials this afternoon, the full list of officials. And I go to Chelsea. Well, we haven't needed VAR in our match so far. Old Stratford End is on. 94, we won the double and kicked Chelsea all over London. Well, let's not hear any more of this fighting talk. But well, that same sort of thing this afternoon. It's good to have you all with us. Manchester United and Chelsea fans, you can get yourself involved in this final. Of course, our regulars will be there. I hope Panini and Russ was also there too. I hope McClarett pays a visit as well. He's also going to be our second commentator for our coverage of the World Cup. Of course, we've got the European Cup final and the playoffs to come next week. As Young chases forward, and the ball back to David De Gea in green. A long kick forward, the KO winning the header right and halfway. Bakayoko heading it on, and now the ball back to De Gea once again. It's frightening to think that the World Cup is now just under a month away. Big kick-off on June the 14th. England, of course, as you probably don't need reminding, are in the same group as Panama and Tunisia and Belgium, who are now managed, of course, by Roberto Martinez, taking over from Mark Wilmots. Of course, there's plenty of football still to be played before then. There's 2 England friendlies coming up in the early part of next month, and of course there's the European Cup final a week today at Wembley. Not at Wembley, in Kiev, sorry, between Liverpool and Real Madrid. What a moment it could be for Liverpool if they were to win that next Saturday, as Thibaut Courtois kicks long 3/4 of the way up the field. Giroud battling for it alongside Chris Smalling. On ball forward. Yes, if we I'll talk to you about that in the coming weeks. I will certainly throw you into the mix if me and Chris aren't available to do any commentaries. We'll certainly have you as a third choice commentator, definitely, and we'll give you a few commentaries. That would be great, Russ. The more the merrier. It might give us a chance to cover some more games. Meanwhile, here today on the JB Clark YouTube channel, our second stab at this FA Cup final coverage. Last year we missed all the dignitaries and the starts because of sound problems. Today it's been technical issues. We missed a little bit of the kick-off, but we are live with you now, and this is Lingard on the far side for United, called up into the England squad, and he's had a good season, Jesse Lingard, he has to be said. Meanwhile, Pogba there just pushes Fabregas a little clumsily there, and a 3 kick to Chelsea. It's a little bit scrappy at the start of this FA Cup final, but it's perfect conditions as it is for Cup final day, and well, I don't know whether to be fighting insulted about that comment, but we're not a bad town. 80,000 people, and a lot of people in Burnley do support the team, but it's not about Burnley today. It's about Chelsea and Manchester United. And this is Alonso now on the near side, plays it in towards Bakayoko, still on the left hand side here, and he's hugging that left touchline. He's kept that in play. Matic, though, the former Chelsea man, right behind him and takes the ball cleanly. Did really well there, Matic, and that's the value he brings to a team like Manchester United, and I think that's what Chelsea have been lacking in that midfield area. This is Fabregas now, edge of the area, and here comes Lingard to pick it up for Manchester United. Now Pogba striving forward, plays an early ball forward, and now a chance here, and that's surely going to be a foul there on Lingard, but it's been given the other way. Well, now looked a foul there on Jesse Lingard, who's absolutely looking cloak and dagger at the referee. Well, to me, that's a foul by Bakayoko on Lingard. Well, I can't believe... Well, in fact, it wasn't Bakayoko, it was Kante. I think he has given it to Manchester United. So, an opportunity then. And it is a Manchester United 3 kick. I did think it was, and they've taken it quickly. Young now on the far side. Early cross in there, away from the Chelsea defenders. Herrera picks the ball up, finds Lingard, just gets it back to the halfway line. Now Jones plays it forward and then gives it straight to Bakayoko. And now a chance here for Chelsea now to break with Eden Hazard. Giroud is in the middle. So it's still Hazard on the left-hand side. Hazard to the byline, gets his shot in, and he was at the near post. And a great save by the right leg of David De Gea, but the ball's back on the far side. Or the near side, rather. This is Hazard. And he's got Alonso just a bit further towards the edge of the area. Still on the left-hand side, but the referee stopped proceedings. I think Hazard was in an offside position as Alonso played the ball back. And a free kick to Manchester United. But the first big opportunity of the game came 9 minutes in. This is Hazard down the left hand side, beats the defender here. Jones gets his shot in, but it was a routine save for David De Gea to make. Good goalkeeping there, although he had to stretch his right leg out a bit there. You can see why he's won the Premier League Golden Glove Award. One of the best goalkeepers certainly in the world at the moment. Surely he's got to be a shoo-in for the Spanish number one. This summer. And if... Well, let's not talk about death at a time like this. Let's concentrate on the happy occasions. It's a football game. It's the showpiece of the year. Let's not try and get derogatory comments or think about things like that. As Manchester United goes in search, and Pogba's been fouled again. Fouled his man again. That was Hazard. 10 minutes gone here at Wembley. Well, I hope we're not going to see any theatrics that we saw in the Europa final the other day, because I have to say some of the Marseille and Atletico Madrid players' play acting was a lot to be desired. I was very disappointed about that aspect of the final. I hope these two teams have a bit more discipline about them and we really have a game that we enjoy. Not that we enjoyed any less of the Europa final. It just spoilt it for me a little bit, the play acting of both teams in that particular evening. But 0-0 still here in a final which could be a very close run thing. Offside given. And well, offside given against Giroud. I can understand Manchester United's supporters' exuberance or excitement towards this final, but let's keep the derogatory comments away from the way. Liverpool are still a good side and they need to be respected. I'm sure they respect Manchester United just as well. Let's just keep the Liverpool rivalry out of it. And it's not about them today, it's about that's for next week. Today it's about Chelsea and Manchester United. Now the ball will find Rashford on the near side, the right hand side, and here's Rashford now, gets the cross in towards the penalty area, cleared by Alonso. Valencia picks the ball up and he finds Matic. Now the ball still on the right and it's Rashford. He's kept that in play. Alonso still to meet him, but Alonso would not be denied, and it will be a Manchester United throw, level with the 6-yard box of Chelsea. Coming up towards 12 minutes gone. And no swearing please, this is a family show. Here's Valencia now for United. Herrera now for United. Back to Valencia again. Kingsfield to Lingard. United now started to put one or two good passing moves together here. Young on the far side, chipping it in. Too close to the goalkeeper, Courtois. Big 6'5" of him. A terrific goalkeeper, there's no doubt about that. England games next month, and then the World Cup where the whole nation will come together. I knew the rivalry ran deep between the big sides, but I never knew it was this deep. But 0-0 here, a big final here. Remember, both teams have met twice before in the final. United winning in '94, Chelsea just 11 years ago, and it was a poor final decided by a late goal in extra time, the second period of extra time, by Didier Drogba. Oh, that could be a penalty. Well, that looked a penalty to me. Bakayoko was certainly tripped, but Mr. Oliver's not giving it. Well, that looked a dubious decision to me. We'll have to see that again. I think Michael Oliver had a big decision to make there, and Matic had a fistful of shirt, and that's a penalty. I think He's got a fistful of shirt there. I think that should be a Chelsea penalty. But it's still 0-0. Throw to Manchester United on the far side. Did look from the naked eye as if a penalty was going to be given. Michael Oliver had a decent look at it, in fairness to him, but decided not to give the decision. Whether or not that was the correct decision, that's for others to be debated, but that did look a penalty. Here's Valencia now in field. The United still coming forward. They're good side coming forward. Second in the league. In other years, their points tally would have actually won them the league. It just so happens Manchester City have had such a good season. It was just, they had no chance of catching them. Now Young now to the far side, and Pogba. Pogba now running up Fabregas. And now Lingard takes over. Finds Young on the far side. Back to Lingard once again. Matic in a bit of space. Back towards Herrera. Herrera now to Valencia. And Valencia will run at them and run at them. Plays it in field once again. Matic is there too. And Valencia now on the right hand side. Good start to the cup final. Quarter of an hour gone, 0-0. Valencia's cross from the far side finds the other man on the far side. Oh, and Lingard goes down, I think, and no penalty this time. In fact, it wasn't. It was Alexis Sanchez. I apologise. Hard to tell in this sunlight, but still no goals. This is Lingard picking the ball up, and he finds Herrera now on the near side. Now Valencia has possession. Back to Herrera once again. 15 minutes gone in the 2018 FA Cup final. 737 teams started back in August of last year, and now these two giants of English football battling it out for the greatest club prize in the English game. As we look at Sanchez, well, Moses had a bit of his shirt there as well. Well, that was Aspilicueta. I think Sanchez was looking for that now. To me, that's a push, and he's got a fistful of shirt there. I know Bakayoko's probably made a meal of it, but I think that looked more of a penalty at the Chelsea end than it did at the United end. But neither penalty was given, and it still remains goalless with coming up towards 16 minutes of the first half gone. And the referee so far has had two big decisions to make. He's decided not to give either side a penalty, so obviously there's consistency there, whether it's good or bad. As I say, it's up for others to decide. Here's Alonso now picking up for the Chelsea, the men in blue, up towards Giroud, and then the ball straight into the arms of David De Gea. 0-0 then at Wembley, and the ball has not been kept in, and it will be a throw to Chelsea, and they're taking it inside their own half. It looked as if it came out in the United half of the field, but Chelsea deciding to take it in their own half. It's entirely up to them. And 0-0. And I'm not reading half these comments because I'm not permitted to swear. If they want to swear, that's entirely their decision, but I'm certainly trying to keep my language very clean here this afternoon. I am the commentator, for heaven's sake, but if you are thinking of commenting and you want to keep your comments clean, I will weed them out, but I'll let Stretford End 1977 carry on. No worries. No, and a very good final between two sides, evenly matched. Chelsea finishing 5th in the league, United 2nd behind City. As I say, he's put their points tally on any other year would have got them the title, but City were just too good for everyone else, and they're going to take some beating. Herrera in towards Lingard, in towards Sanchez, and Sanchez running at them, and was he tripped? No, says the referee. Can we just stop referring to Hillsborough? It was a terrible tragedy. The justice was there. Can we stop going on about Liverpool? I'm sure you got the same respect for 58. Now let's just leave it at that now. Any more comments and you will be off YouTube. It's a cup final, it's the showpiece of the year. I've built this up for a couple of days, and we don't want to see comments like that on a day like today. Thank you very much. I don't mind the banter, I don't mind the odd swear word, but let's not make derogatory comments about other people's teams. That's not why people come on and listen to the get streams. Otherwise we will have to abandon the chat for the World Cup, and we don't want to be doing that. So let's just enjoy the final, not think about Hillsborough or Munich or any other thing that's gone before it, and let's just watch a game of football which is absolutely ebbed and flowed at the moment, with 18 and three-quarter minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Here's Courtois, big, what, 6'5", is he? 6'5", 6'6", a big tall lad. And there are certain people ignoring my pleas, but there you go. And absolutely anonymous, well said. As a United fan from Manchester, yes, fantastic. And yes, good evening to you as well. Hope you're very nervous today. I'd like to hear a few Chelsea fans as well. If you are any Chelsea fans on there and you want to listen out, please give me a shout as we look at 1 or 2 in the crowd at the moment. 19 and a half minutes gone at Wembley. The 2018 FA Cup final, of course, in association with the Emirates Airline, of course, sponsoring the cup final. 0-0 here at Wembley. This is Valencia for United. Good first time ball, and Sanchez chesting that down well to Lingard in the centre circle. Now a chance here for Pogba to go over the halfway line, and he feeds Ashley Young. A real wild card entry, but I think it's inspired choice by Gareth Southgate to get him in there. He's had a good season at left back, I have to say, for Manchester United. A real unsung hero. Young guy, remember him as a left winger, pacey left winger at Aston Villa. Meanwhile, it's Hazard through the middle. It's Hazard for Chelsea. John trying to bring him down. Did he get any of the ball? Penalty given to Chelsea. And I've got to say, I think the penalty was the right decision. Jones is booked. Although one could argue he should be off the field because he was the last man. I think United should be down to 10 men. Conte is absolutely fuming. His team have got a penalty and Chelsea are arguing he should be off the field. Well, that should be a red card. He was through, a clear goal scoring opportunity. Red card, he's given a yellow. I've got to be honest, it looked a penalty. Here's Hazard, Jones the wrong side, didn't get any of the ball at all, took plenty of the man, and surely Hazard would have scored there. A penalty had to be awarded, and it should have been a red for Jones. I think the referee has erred on the side of caution, but it had to be a red card for me because he was through on goal, and Jones is very lucky to still be on the field. But what he hasn't got away with is the taking of the penalty, and Hazard, who won the kick. I don't think there's any question about the penalty award. One would argue that Jones should have gone for that. I think that's a penalty and a red card, but it's a penalty to Chelsea in the 21st minute, 22nd minute. Hazard a short run up. He'll go right footed here. David De Gea in centre of the goals, and Hazard sends the keeper the wrong way, and Chelsea take the lead in the 2018 FA Cup final. And Conte still arguing about whether Jones should be sent off. Really, he should be celebrating the fact that his team have gone in the lead. So in one respect, Jones has not got away with it scot-free because Hazard has punished him for it from the penalty spot. Good penalty. Into the far corner. The right-hand corner. De Gea guessed right. From where he was looking, the ball went to his left. And it went right into the right-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner, and I think Chelsea fans will forget all about whether Jones should have been sent off or not, but there will be a debate about that. Certainly got no of the ball, got plenty of the man, clean through and goal. Under FIFA rules, that should have been a red card, but Chelsea a goal up, and that's all that matters at the moment. Hazard in the 22nd minute with a penalty. And we've got a final now that's really got left off. Chelsea 1, United 0, so 5th in the league, leading 2nd in the league. Wow. Halfway through this first half. And this final really hotting up now. Ball out towards Valencia, near side. United now must come from behind. As the ball is whipped in towards the penalty spot, and it's knocked away once more. It was a definite penalty. I don't think you can argue with that Stretford end. I think that is a penalty, and I think Jones should have gone. I think that was a clear red card. And, well, there you go. There will be arguments, certainly from Chelsea's point of view. Should it have been a penalty kick? Or should it have been a red card? I don't think there was... I don't think Hazard went down easily. I think it was a penalty. I think the referee was right to give it, but at the same time, I do insist that Jones should have been sent off the field. I think the only reason he's got away with it is the fact maybe there was 2 covering defenders, but they weren't... I don't think they were going to get back in time. And the other thing that might have just saved him as well is the fact that it's the FA Cup final. If it had been a league game, then it would have been a definite red card. But I think the fact that because it's an FA Cup final, I think sort of transpired against them a little bit, Chelsea. But a good start though for Chelsea, 1-0. And you're listening to this game live on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. Should it have been a red card for Jones? Be interesting to see what the pundits at Wembley will talk about that, but I think the referee got it wrong in terms of not sending him off the field. 25 minutes gone here then in the FA Cup final, and it's Chelsea 1 up. And maybe a season that's been quite frustrating in league terms for Antonio Conte might well end with a great bit of silverware, but there's still a long way to go. Meanwhile, Manchester United have got a free kick, fouling Ashley Young there. A little bit silly there from Cesc Fabregas. In fact, it was Pogba who was tripped. It took 2 Chelsea players to bring him down. There was also Moses that brought him down too. Sanchez behind this one. Now United, remember, trailed at this stage of the semi-final against Tottenham, but came back to win by 2-1. 26 minutes gone here at Wembley. And it's back to Herrera, who went to hit it with his right foot and caught it all wrong, but the ball's been kept in by Sanchez, and Sanchez has played the ball into the penalty area, and the ball on the roof of the net as Pogba tried to loop the header goalwards, but got 2 underneath it. But I think it got a deflection, and United do have a corner. I do think it was a red card, the penalty decision. But United still lucky to have 11 men on the field, but they have a corner. Sanchez now needs a delivery like he's never had one before. With his right foot into the area it goes. They all went for it, and it was flicked on, I think, again by Pogba. And out of play it goes off the corner flag on the far side for the goal kick. Well, this is the incident again. Fabregas playing it forward, and then Hazard taking it in his stride. Jones is there now to scamper, and then surely as Hazard's about to pull the trigger, Jones, for me, has to go for that. Because if you look at it there, Hazard is about to pull the trigger. Jones has brought him down. The referee had no hesitation in giving the penalty, but I think he bottled it there in terms of applying the letter of the law. It is difficult for referees, I suppose, in a showpiece final like this. But Chelsea will argue, even if they win, that the letter of the law wasn't implied. But they did take the penalty, and Hazard coolly slotted it home to give Chelsea a deserved lead. As we come up towards 28 minutes gone here at Wembley Stadium. Chelsea 1, United 0. This is Herrera on halfway for United, who so far have been a little bit second best. They haven't really created any real opportunity to test Thibaut Courtois at the right hand end. De Gea's had to make a save and then pick the ball out of the net. Now, can Jesse Lingard make something happen? No, he can't. A good tackle there. And to be fair to Moses, he's kept that in rather well. Moses gets that away for Chelsea. Now, Giroud trying to hook it forward. Now Hazard now. And the ball just ricocheting around the centre of the field at the moment. Here's Herrera inside the centre circle. Here's Valencia, still 1-0 to Chelsea. It was a penalty. You cannot argue with the decision, Old Stratford End. Your team should be down to 10 men. Here is Rashford. Rashford has kept that in. Looked to me as if it carried out, but it is a throw, and that looked a throw to Chelsea. Well, look at that. Well, Chelsea have had less of the possession, believe it or not. And Manchester United have had more, but Chelsea have done far more with their 37% than what United have done in their 63 as the ball came in towards Sanchez. Here's Young now for United. Left-hand side. Ball back towards Pogba. Pogba has the shot! And that was, I think, just wide of the target. Hard to tell with the sunshine. But Paul Pogba lined it up well on his right foot. Got it out, and yes, it was just wide of the target. I think Thibaut Courtois would have had it covered in any case. The ball then ricocheted off the hoardings and flew up back into the field over the goal. 29.5 minutes gone here at Wembley. 1-0. Jones knocking it back. And here's De Gea. And he finds Herrera on the near side. And the Chelsea fans are making all the noise. They have been the better team, no doubt about it. You don't need VAR to come to that decision. I think Chelsea would probably would have wanted VAR for the red card, but you know, it's Jones got away with that decision in terms of the red card, but he didn't get away with the penalty, which has been duly punished by a brilliant penalty from Hazard. Always a worry when those penalties are taken very short, when these short run-up penalties, but Hazard showed coolness under real pressure. Big crowd, 90,000 here at Wembley today for this cup final, and so far it's been pretty good. Chelsea have been decent value for it, but United have had the possession but just haven't done enough with it. And there's a few concerned United fans over on the far side. There's no doubt at all. There's no doubt at all the better team are winning at the moment. Here's Matic now for United, looking to get back into it. But at the moment they just haven't created anything at this moment in time. This is Phil Jones. We need to stop with the old silly. I don't mind chanting and all sorts, but we've got families listening to this now. Please keep your comments clean if you can. So far you're swearing and shouting, and it's not good. Now please stop it with the homophobic comics as well. You're doing yourself no end. You will be chucked off YouTube. I'll report you at half time when I'm on my pause if you keep on like this, Old Stratford End. Now please start to be a bit more respectful in your comments, otherwise you will be kicked off. Here's Sanchez with the shot, and it's fallen over. It was something like 30-40 yards out. Hit it with his right foot, and it was way over into the stand for a goal kick. Well, was it a bold decision, or was it a plain stupid decision from Mourinho to not go with Lukaku up front? Well, we'll just have to see. But what's not in doubt is the scoreline. 1-0, and the right team are winning at the moment. No doubt about it that Chelsea have looked very much good on the threat, and good on the break, I should say. There's an atmosphere to beat no other. The FA Cup final is always. And again, why? Right, if you cannot make any nice comments, Old Stratford, and you're gonna give me little or no choice. You're ruining the cup final with your derogatory comments, and I've got to be honest with you, I'm not very happy with the way you're going about it at the moment. Would you please refrain from swearing and all sorts of derogatory comments, because at the moment you are doing yourself no favours whatsoever. Please stop the comments, otherwise don't bother at all. you will be chucked off YouTube. I am getting a little bit fed up now. My commentary stream is being ruined here, and I do apologise to everybody who's listening in. I can't apologise enough right now. If he isn't going to say anything nice about opposition teams, then he's not a true football supporter. We want true football fans on here, and I will be ranting on after the game if you keep on this. He's also a legend of Nottingham, so let's have a bit of respect. Here's Alonso now. He's clearly ruining the cup final coverage for everybody here. Here's Hazard now, back in towards Fabregas. Fabregas tries to knock the ball in, and it's sucked away once again. Now Bakayoko tries to keep his feet. He goes down. It's a 3-kick, definite foul by Sanchez. And if he keeps on with this, Cloughy was a legend. Let's have it straight. Any more comments from you, young man, and you will be off. You've come here to cause trouble, and I don't like it, and I have to say I don't want to take the chat, and I don't want to take the privileges off the listeners. We want to comment on the football, not derogatory comments. And I will be making a video afterwards referring to you, because you have been a disgrace to our YouTube community this afternoon. For those who are interested in the football, free kick now to Manchester United, to Chelsea, and Old Stretford End will be off YouTube by half time. I'll make sure of that. We're not so it's a 3-kick. Fabregas to take it into the wall and back out again towards Moses, and then away by Young. We've got about 10 minutes to half time here at Wembley, and Kante gets the ball back to Thibaut Courtois. And Courtois kicks long up the field, up towards Bakayoko. Moses keeps it in on the near side, or the far side as we look. Moses does well, checks back. Bakayoko offers us some support there. Penalty in the 22nd minute, dispatched by Eden Hazard is the difference, although I think when you hear everybody else, it will be that it should have been a red card for Phil Jones, and I'm afraid Old Stretford End is absolutely doing his football club a bad name at the moment with some of these horrible comments. They will be taken off, they will be reported, and with a bit of luck YouTube will throw him off, because I do not want people commented like that. That's why I took the comments off earlier in this season, because we were getting people like him making horrible comments about other teams. I don't want to hear any more of it or see any more, because thank you very much, Russ. Thank you, and it's just, well, it's good to see Russ is appreciating what I'm trying to do, and indeed he's always good with Russ. And meanwhile, United have a corner on the far side, and well, let's hope that's the end of the derogatory comments, as the corner flag is now planted back into the turf here at Wembley on the far side. And thank you very much, Russ, for saving me a job at half time. So 1-0 it is. A corner on the far side. In it goes towards the near post, hooked away by Fabregas. Will be a corner. Fabregas on the near post that time. Well, he's still coming out with these comments, I'm afraid. And it's not pleasing everyone that's listening, as that ball comes in towards the 6-yard box, and Courtois, around a yard off his line, takes the ball cleanly under no great pressure. And well, there we go, still 0-0, and it's disappointing. He's come on to cause trouble here, and it's ruined my enjoyment of this stream. It's ruined everyone else's enjoyment, and he will be hopeful YouTube will block this idiot. Really, if you want to comment about the game, I am fed up of having to talk about derogatory comments made by people that could come, and meanwhile I should be concentrating on the game. Instead, my attention is stuck by this idiot here, who claims to be a United supporter, but I think he's just an idiot, really. A minority of one spoiling it for the rest of rest of us. We're not into hooligans, we're into football. We're a football channel, we're not into the hooligan element. Now get off my YouTube channel. Free kick. And here comes the free kick. Up towards Giroud. Up again. I'll be glad when half time comes, quite frankly. I can get rid of you, good. Here's a corner now to be taken by Smalling. Oh, conceded by Smalling. It's the Chelsea supporters. All decent, fair for a lot of them. Are celebrating at the moment. And they're rightly in the lead. Yes, United have had plenty of possession. They haven't created much with that possession. So it's Fabregas with the corner. And here comes the corner into the area and punched away by the keeper. And out for a throw on the far side, level with the United edge of the United penalty area. And looks as if Russ's attempts have been in vain, because this guy is still somehow commenting on my stream, and he shouldn't be if he's being blocked. Go on YouTube, get a grip on yourselves. Meanwhile, back in the game, the ball's still in play. I thought the ball had gone out. Everyone had stopped for about 2 or 3 minutes. And something's gone on here. Michael Ober has been called over to the far side, or his attention's been drawn over to the far side. And he's struggling to hear it amongst all that noise here. Valencia making a pointer to the United captain. Actually, Young, the player involved. They're all wearing black armbands, incidentally, in tribute to Ray Wilkins. As widow Jackie will give the trophy to one of these two legends, and it's appropriate, really, that Ray Wilkins should be honoured in this way, with two of his old teams battling it out for this famous old cup. And absolutely anonymous, a proper contributor. Poor quality from United so far. Disappointed. Yes, it's actually nice to see a good comment for once, and a fair comment as well. And here he comes again. I can't wait for half time to come quick enough so we can get rid of the geezer for good. Meanwhile, here at Wembley in the FA Cup final of 2018, which is, our coverage is being ruined by some idiot here that's going on about stupid acts of violence that was back in the 70s and 80s. It's just ridiculous. Why does he need to bring up old stupid memories? The game has moved on. Move with it. It's probably one of the reasons why he's at home watching the game on television or listening to me, and inside the ground they wouldn't let him in. Let's hope the second half is not going to be tarnished by people like him. We don't need it. Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0, and it's Chelsea deservedly winning at the moment, and Russ is agreeing with me. So United coming back once again. We're inside the last 4 minutes of the first half. I hope this whole Stretford end is not spoiling your enjoyment of this commentary. Unfortunately, it's spoiling my enjoyment of the commentary that I have to wait once a year to do. And unfortunately for me, it's he's really winding me up right now, and I can't wait to take 5 minutes and really let off some steam, because he's really getting me pent up with anger. Here's the free kick, the ball into the cross coming in towards the penalty area, headed away, but Lingard was backing into his man, and a free kick. And you will be going off at half time, old Stretford, and you will be reported and you'll be chucked off, and you'll never ever appear on this channel again. I will make sure of that personally. How is YouTube letting somebody like you make derogatory comments? I will never know, and YouTube will be getting the bird from me as well. Meanwhile, a free kick, and I hope this is not spoiling your enjoyment of this idiot. Now, if you're going to keep your comments, this is a family show, we keep your comments clean. Hopefully the second half will have much better comments than what we've seen so far. Here's Rashford on the near side for Manchester United inside the last 2 minutes. I hope they're not going to blow too much injury time, because quite honestly I can't wait to come off at half time and just... And that's a free kick, and well said, absolutely anonymous. And oh god, I do apologise for this, but I can't keep apologising enough. YouTube are just not doing anything at the moment. 2 people that have contributed to this channel and the regular contributors, they're not happy. Go away. Go away. I'm sick of you. Free kick to Manchester United. Back to the game now. I'm going to concentrate on the next 90 seconds if I can. And a free kick here to be taken by Rashford. And Rashford curls it in with his right foot. Hit the 2-man Chelsea wall. It will be a corner. Seriously, seriously. He's winding me up now, right now. I cannot wait to come off there for about 10 minutes. And really, really, I will be doing a video because I want to name and shame this person afterwards. The time of the year I like to do this commentary as the ball comes in towards the back post, and it's Phil Jones trying to head it goalwards, and it's out for a goal kick. It's actually the first comment he's made without being derogatory or homophobic or actually swearing. Well, that makes this pleasant change as Matic and Jones went in for the ball. 30 seconds of normal time to go. This hope the second half isn't going to be like the first half. It's been a nightmare. You look forward to this once a year, and then somebody like him comes and tries to spoil it. As the kick comes in, header won by Phil Jones, who should have been off the field. It looked a penalty to me, definite red card as well. But the referee didn't agree, and he kept Jones on the field, whether it was the showpiece of the year or not. One more added minute to endure, and then I can take 5 minutes. Thank you, absolutely anonymous. It's just a shame other people, other contributors are spoiling it for the rest of you. That's what I'm angry about. I'm really sorry about this. And if anyone's offended, I cannot apologise enough. There are youngsters watching, and this person here is absolutely ruining it for everybody. Now, I will make sure you're barred from YouTube, mate, because if you're making derogatory comments about other teams, listen, there's nothing wrong with being a Manchester United fan. There's nothing going on in the way. We're just about last 15 minutes. We'll just get back to the game. As Rudiger plays the ball in. Can Chelsea score again just before the break? No. Cut out there by United. And here's Pogba. Pogba through the middle. Now can United stage a late flurry before half time? We've played the 1 minute. We'll have time for this attack. Pogba inside the area. It's a chance for Rashford. Couldn't get his shot out, and away it goes. And that should be that for the first half. At least I'm getting good reviews from everyone else as the whistle goes for half time. Well, I need to lie down after that. So a penalty from Hazard after 22 minutes. I'm certainly going to listen to the analysis and I'll look at whether Phil Jones should be sent off, because I think he's denying Hazard a clear scoring opportunity. But nevertheless, Hazard's penalty makes it 1-0 at half time in this 2018 Emirates FA Cup final. As usual, we're going to take 10 minutes and hopefully we'll get rid of this idiot that spoiled it for the rest of us, and then we'll be back with full uninterrupted second half commentary of the 2018 FA Cup final, which at half time currently stands at Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. Hello viewers, welcome, listeners, welcome back, and thank you very much to the support of everybody that has backed me throughout that first half. That wasn't the easiest first half to do, with certain people interrupting and trying to spoil it for the rest of us. Now hopefully I've reported him as well. Whilst we were off the air, I've also made a cup of coffee because my voice was losing touch before the half-time whistle, but we are back live at Wembley. And we're waiting for the arrival of both Manchester United and Chelsea. I think Manchester United are the first ones out onto the field. You can see the red shirts out there as we wait to restart the second half. It's been a first half really that was a real good display as the United team are out and Chelsea are back on the field now. Romelu Lukaku still on the bench, as are with the penalty. Both Belgian teammates, and they'll be playing against Gareth Southgate's England. In the summer at the World Cup, of course. But one thing is for certain, that this final is still not over yet. United are still in this final, even at 1-0. I hope they were very lucky not to be a man down in the second half. But the next 45 minutes will tell us exactly what will happen here, because this really is a second half which could go to and fro. So remember the FA Cup final, of course. Don't forget on BBC Two later on, which might be worth a watch. It's a whole night dedicated to John Motson, the famous BBC commentator who retired last week and won himself a BAFTA award. Couldn't be a more fitting tribute to a terrific commentator. As we get underway the second half, he did 29 FA Cup finals, more than any other commentator in this country. The man was just a genius, and he will be sadly missed from the game, John Motson. I just wanted to pay a little tribute to him, and of course I wanted to pay a tribute as the game gets underway. There's just a couple of high balls that Ray Wilson, the 1966 World Cup fullback, has sadly died. A real terrible passing, and of course J. Lloyd Samuel, who sadly was killed this week in a terrible car accident. Our thoughts and of course our prayers, of course, are with both Ray's family and J. Lloyd's family. At this must be a distressing time for them. Now then, here comes Valencia as the ball comes in, and it's a corner. Well, Panini, it doesn't matter, because there's been 4 or 5 of us that have commented on the guy. Hopefully he won't be appearing for the second half, so don't worry, mates, you're with me for the second half, and hopefully we'll have a much better second half. But as I said, before the the corner wasn't given, but as I said, my thoughts and prayers, I'm sure, are with J. Lloyd Samuel's family and with Ray Wilson's family as well. Two great contributors to the English game. Certainly Ray Wilson, who was a World Cup winner last week again, and of course he'd also won the FA Cup the same year, of course, with Everton in the Mike Trabuco final back in 1966. But in 2018, 52 years on, we have Manchester United on the break here with Rashford. 1-0 down, should be a man down in my opinion. The referee didn't give it that way, and I'm sure Mourinho will dress down the players, United players, at half time. They do have Lukaku. They were 1 down a couple of years ago, of course, to Crystal Palace, and came back to win that one. That turned out to be Louis van Gaal's final game in charge of Manchester United. At the moment, Mourinho could be heading with no trophies. 2 have already gone the other side of Manchester, deservedly so. City were easily winners in the Carabao competition 2.5 months ago when they beat Arsenal 3-0 here at Wembley in a final which was a real open and shut case, not as competitive as this one has been. Yes, and of course Panini just paying tribute to J. Lloyd Samuel, a terrific player. Spent a bit of time on loan and at Gillingham, of course, in these younger days, of course, but was more famous for playing for Aston Villa, and then later on in his career just down the road at Bolton Wanderers. A real servant to the game. And of course Ray Wilson no longer with us, and of course a nice touch. This is like the Ray Wilkins final really, because Ray Wilkins, who's of course, as you all know, sadly died last month, played for both clubs and served both clubs well with distinction, winning the FA Cup with Manchester United as a player in '83, and then of course as Chelsea coach, assistant to Ancelotti, winning the FA Cup some 8 years ago now. So, and of course his widow Jackie is in the royal box and will present the FA Cup to either Gary Cahill or Antonio Valencia this afternoon. At the moment it looks as if it's going to be Gary Cahill getting his hands on the trophy, but we've only played 3 minutes of the second half. As I say, United have still got some big game players in there. Be a nice little bit of a sweet end to Antonio Conte's season, because it's been really difficult in the league, and but they certainly come in as the tributes at the moment from our regulars to daylayed Samuel, and of course let's not forget about Ray Wilson as well. And Panini got an autograph from the great Ray Wilkins, of course. But it's a nice touch though. There's a Chelsea player gone down. Now United, could they be putting the ball out of play? The referees had to stop it, and well, it's Hazard on the deck. Don't forget, whilst we got a break in play, whilst Hazard receives treatment, just to remind you, next weekend we've got the playoffs for your life. Chris will be doing them hopefully for us, and of course on Saturday night I'll be covering the European Cup final from Kiev, as Liverpool bid to win the European Cup for the 6th time in their history, as they take on record winners Real Madrid, looking to win the trophy for the 3rd consecutive week, consecutive year rather. So join us next week at around about 7:30 and next Saturday for the European Cup final, live only on the JB Clark YouTube channel, the place to be for all the big games and all the big talking points, and of course the World Cup as well, the build-up, a couple of England games that we might feature for you in the build-up, and of course we'll have every kick that matters with myself, Matt Claret, and if we can get Russ on board as a third commentator, then that would seriously help the workload tremendously and take the pressure off myself and Chris a little bit. I'm sure Russ would have no trouble in identifying all 23 of the Panama squad. Give me a few tips, because I've never covered Panama before as a football nation, so this is why we love the World Cup. You get so many of these wonderful countries like Panama and Tunisia and the African countries. I'm looking forward to having a look at one or two of the African nations, and I'd love to see one or two of them actually go far in the tournament, just like the Cameroonians did back in 1990. The Ivory Coast were very unlucky not to reach the semi-finals 8 years ago in South Africa. It will be a real multicultural stage, and I hope we'll get our first chance to get our tongues around the Brazilian side and the Argentinian side, as Young comes forward now for Manchester United. A good classic English name, and Young goes down. I think he was looking for that, and I think he's got the decision, has he, off Moses? I thought he was looking for that a little bit there, Young. I think the referee's bought that, I have to say. I didn't think that looked a free kick. Let's have a look. Well, I have to say, Young, well, he's got a reputation for diving, and well, I don't think that's a free kick at all. I think Moses stood his ground, and I think the referee was a little bit on the wrong side to give that. And of course, don't forget the John Motson night tonight. What a tribute to a great commentator. 50 years as a commentator will never be beaten in anyone else's lifetime. And I thought Ken Wostenholm was the king, and Brian Moore were the kings, but they're not. It's Motti that's the king, and meanwhile United go for the equaliser, and it's Rashford's free kick, and it's punched away by Courtois, and then there's a high foot there as Moses attempted to head clear, and that will be a free kick surely. It was a high foot there by Herrera, nothing malicious. It was just, I think he was trying to trap the ball while lifting his leg up, and in the end he's ended up catching hold of Moses inside the penalty area. The Chelsea pensioners are there in full cry, as they always are. You can't be a proper Chelsea pensioner if you're not a Chelsea fan. Still 1-0 to Chelsea. 53 minutes gone in this 2018 FA Cup final here at Wembley Stadium. Manchester United looking to win the FA Cup again, having lost out to the league title and the Champions League, and lost out in the League Cup in an earlier round to Bristol City in a quarter-final. So this is the last chance for Mourinho to salvage some pride here from the red half of Manchester, considering that the blue half are taking two of the three big prizes on offer in the domestic game this season, the Carabao Trophy and the Premier League crown. It's not as if United have had a bad season by any stretch, Dave. 81 points I think they finished up with. It would have been enough in other seasons to have won the league, but the way City played this season, you've got to admire the way they played it, although they do have a £500 million budget. Here's a chance though for Lingard. Lingard inside the area. Can United get level? Lingard just hustled out of it, and good last-ditch Chelsea defending has kept them in the lead, but still United come forward. Sanchez, who's got the knackered turning cup finals on his own, and Young tries the shot just to the left of the knee, and it goes over the bar, and that will encourage United a little bit here. Chelsea just making a dog's dinner there, getting the ball away, and then Young on the left hand side. I think he tried to cross it. I don't think he was trying to shoot. I think it would have taken something very, very spectacular to have chipped Thibaut Courtois from the angle he tried to chip it from. And there are a few concerned looks on Manchester United supporters' faces. Here's Courtois with the kick, left-footed. Recorders up the way up the field and flicked on, and it will be Phil Jones to retrieve it for Manchester United. And I thought the theatrics had gone with a Europa final, which was an absolute disgrace and a disgraceful exhibition of play acting. I have to say the free kick Ashley Young one was another terrible piece of play acting, and the referee has blown. There was a foul this time on Young. It was a definite foul this time, and a free kick has been given. Well, he's had a mixed bag, Michael Oliver. He's made some good decisions, but then again he's made some poor ones. I thought the penalty decision was correct, but however the red card that should have followed didn't. And there will be criticisms about the refereeing here if United do equalise. There's a chance here for them, but the pullback from Rashford wasn't good enough. But here's a chance now for them. Rashford has the shot, saved by Courtois, and that's the first time United have tested the keeper. Meanwhile, the ball back in, and it's easily for the goalkeeper to take his midriff. Yes, we'll let you know, Russ, in the fullness of time. Obviously I need to speak to Chris and see what his plans are, but meanwhile that's the opportunity there for Rashford. Got a shot off there on the right foot, and in fairness to Courtois, it was a good save. It was straight at him, but he did the necessaries and did the basics right. Meanwhile, Chelsea on the break now, looking to score a second one with Bakayoko, and that was surely looked a foul there, but the referee's not giving it. And here come Manchester United. This might be controversial if they were to equalise from this attack. Herrera has it now. Pogba and acres of space in the midfield area, and Pogba now runs 30-40 yards. Will he take the shot on? He will take the shot on. He gets a deflection, and it goes behind for the corner. Well, that's better from United. Could Chelsea have had a free kick at the other end just seconds before? Corner though to United. Rashford to take it from the near side. Pogba's in there too. Lingard's there too. Smalling's up from the back. This needs to be a better delivery from Marcus Rashford. Into the penalty area he goes. Flicked away by Chelsea. And now Hazard's the goal scorer. The penalty in the 22nd minute. Looks like at the moment dividing the teams. Here's Hazard now over the halfway line on the left hand side. Hazard still with the ball. Runs past his man, and he was tripped over there quite stupidly there. The yellow card given. Mourinho completely losing his bearings over the far side. Valencia the culprit. He goes into the United captain. Silly yellow card to give away. Hazard did well here. Gets away from Herrera. Goes down the left hand side. He's hugging that left touchline, and then just slows it down and draws the free kick from Valencia. And he's now in the referee's notebook. Still 1-0 to Chelsea. Coming up to 58 minutes of the second half gone. The ball in towards the penalty area once again, and just about carried in by De Gea. And that was a dangerous looking cross. But at the moment, United in this second half looking a much better team than they were in the first. I have to say, I have to disagree with you there, Panini, a little bit. Chelsea were pretty good in attack, and they were the more lively attacking force, even though they didn't have as much possession as United in the first half. They were certainly brilliant, but they have been a little bit complacent in the second half here a bit, Chelsea, and United are sensing on that at the moment. 58 minutes gone. There's still time for United to get back into it. Here's Valencia now to the far side. Valencia trying to tap it back, and N'Golo Kante can clear up the scraps for Chelsea, and in fact it's United throw halfway inside the Chelsea half. To remind everybody, and they didn't get the chance to do it in the first half, if it's a draw after 90 minutes, if it's level, if the scores are level after 90 minutes, we have half an hour's extra time. And if it's still level after that, it will be a penalty shootout. But let's hope it's going to be a 90-minute job. But if it went to extra time, I don't think anyone would be complaining at all. This is Sanchez now. Sanchez now, he's got experience of winning these FA Cup finals. He's done it 3 times with Arsenal. Here's the shot from Matic back in against his old side. And Matic, who scored a screamer in the semi-final last year for Chelsea against Tottenham. Well, he couldn't repeat the feat this time. He was the right-hand side of the area rather than the left-hand side when he struck it. That would have been some strike if he'd have caught that, but he didn't catch it well. But that's given Mourinho a bit more of encouragement. There's no doubt about that. But at the moment, it's still going Chelsea's way at the moment. 1-0, and they're defending that lead very well, and they'll defend and defend until the bitter end. Nothing wrong with trying to dig in with a 1-0, but it is a dangerous scoreline. De Gea's not had much to do in the second half thus far. We've played an hour. The 22nd minute penalty from Hazard, when United should have arguably been down to 10 men. I'd like to get Panini's views on whether that should have been a red card for Phil Jones. In my book, and I said this in the first half, I think under FIFA laws that should be a red card offence. I think because of the fact that it's a showpiece final of the year, I think the referees erred on the side of caution, although I think he made the wrong choice. Meanwhile, on the far side, Hazard, can he keep it in play? The answer is yes. He's got Giroud waiting in the middle, and he's a cup scoring expert as well. And it's still a good run by Hazard, but the cross back was not particularly good. I think it might have got a slight nick which favoured David De Gea anyway. And here we go again. This is Pogba now in the centre of the field. Pogba turned away from Alonso as if he didn't exist. Now then, Lingard. They need a big second half from him. He hasn't really performed today at Wembley. He's a big game player, and he has proved it so many times this season. Poor cross for Ashley Young. There were 3 United players in the area. Young's cross was poor. 61 minutes gone at Wembley. Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. And speaking of double, we were talking about him earlier, John Motson. Yes, he said he wasn't up with the technical age. He's got probably got a Samsung Galaxy X9 there on Motti. And who said he wasn't an internet freak? Meanwhile, back in the field, it's Rashford with a 3 kick, conceded there by Alonso. Now then, United here have a chance. They're running out of time. They've less than half an hour to force the extra half an hour. If they want to win it outright in the 90 minutes, they need to score twice in the time that remains. 28 minutes to go. Chelsea on course for their first win since 2012 in the competition. And all goes into the area. Good save by Courtois. It's been bundled in by Sanchez, but I think there's an infringement in there. In fact, an offside's been given, and a free kick to Chelsea. It may have been a foul on Courtois, who's hurt himself. Actually would bet money on it. It was offside against Alexis Sanchez. Lingard is having plenty to say to the referee, and if he keeps up with any more of that lip, I think he may well be in the book. Let's have a look at the free kick again. Let's have a look. There was a bit of shirt pulling there. You could argue Smalling could have had a penalty. I think it's Sanchez that's offside there. Let's have a look. Did it deflect into Sanchez's path? That's the first thing. But there certainly looked to be a bit of shirt pulling there on a United player. Courtois did magnificently to keep it out. I think Sanchez was offside initially as the shot came in. Thibaut Courtois doesn't look as if he's going to be able to continue here. He looks in a pretty bad way. So we've got a bit of a stoppage here. Has the physio come on to receive treatment? I don't know. Michael Oliver, I don't know what he's doing at the moment, this referee. Sure, you've got to get the physio on. I think they were checking VAR actually. Let's have a look at it again. Now, was it a high foot perhaps? Was it off Pogba? I don't understand this VAR malarkey. At least we'll get the opportunity to have a big screen version of it at the World Cup in a month's time. Jose Mourinho in consultation with the fourth official. Neil Swarbrick's the VAR man. He's in a television studio in London, in central London, going through it. So it is a free kick to Chelsea as it was originally. So a little bit of VAR intervention. I think Swarbrick should be in the stadium looking at a big screen replay in a director's box somewhere and doing it that way, and everyone on the big screen then should know. I think the FA have been brave to take the VAR on, but I don't think they've utilised the technology properly, and that has been the disappointment really with it. I think they should take a leaf out of cricket and rugby league, where they use the big screen for third umpire and video ref decisions in both those sports. It's going to be quite a while before the Premier League embrace it though. But it's United in the ascendancy here with nearly 65 minutes gone. 25 minutes almost left to play. This is Matic now for Manchester United. Gets the ball back and Herrera just casually knocks the ball back to Smalley. Smalley to Phil Jones. Jones should have really been off the field earlier on in the first half. And surprised the referee didn't go to VAR for that one too. Meanwhile, Pogba to Lingard. Lingard now to Sanchez. Sanchez just slowing it down, playing a good ball out to the far side. Herrera there. First touch a little heavy, but it found Valencia okay. Then Herrera gets it back, and United now retreating back to their own halfway. And here's Sanchez again. Sanchez now turning nicely. Finds Jesse Lingard. Lingard onto Valencia, the captain. United captain. They need a big game from him now in the next 25 minutes for stoppage time. Valencia goes forward, but running at perfectly positioned to get the ball away. And then there's nerves on the bench, there's nerves on the pitch, there's nerves in the commentary box, there's nerves everywhere, I can tell you. Still 25 minutes of this to go. And so far I think we've succeeded in getting the so-called United fan blocked. So we've done our job today, guys. Well, a big round of applause to you all there. Fantastic. It's good to know that we've got the true football fans commenting now on the second half of the game, and that is the way it should have been in the first half. Here's Kante now for Chelsea coming forward, but he's lost out again. So now again we've got Sanchez on the ball midway inside the Chelsea half, and then the ball smuggled back to Thibaut Courtois. And still it remains 1-0, which has always been a bit of a scoreline, or an edgy scoreline. United still coming into this now. A couple of big saves from Courtois, and Young is through, and he was tripped surely there by Cesar Azpilicueta, and surely that's got to be a free kick. Oh, it's not been given, in fact. No, it's not been given, in fact. Well, it does amaze me there. I have to say, I thought that was a foul. Although Young's gone for, he's lucky for that, Young. I think the referee's cottoned on. And then there's a little bit of a coming together between Azpilicueta and Young. Well, maybe Ashley Young's previous reputation as a diver is coming back to haunt him a little bit now. Referees are cottoning on to this. Halfway through the second half, folks. Still Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0 in the FA Cup final. But it's a slender 1-0 lead. Here's Lingard down the right-hand side. Cross deflected. It's behind for a corner. Far side, Alonso's done really well. Stuck to his task rather well. Jesse Lingard there, just for a moment, looked as if he was getting behind the byline and was denied at the very last. So, plenty forward for this United corner. And it's Rashford to take the corner. Sure, it should be Alexis Sanchez. That's a strange choice for a corner. It wasn't a particularly good corner. It was straight to a Chelsea player and out for a throw-in. It was just... that was just brainless, really. You should have your creative player, and you should have someone like Sanchez taking corner. Meanwhile, the ball in, and Lingard with a lovely dummy that just couldn't get Pogba in. And now all of a sudden Chelsea are breaking with Hazard. It's 1 against 5 in United's favour though, and Hazard may have to go alone. Although he did have a couple of Chelsea players up in support to his right as he bobbled down the left, but he was dispossessed quite easily. And here's Pogba, lost out. And now a chance now for Azpilicueta to break down the right hand side. Azpilicueta turns back inside. And now the ball comes over to the far side, and there comes the cross into the penalty area, and Young gets it away. Throw the Chelsea almost over the United penalty area. It's been 50 years, says Russ, since we've had 3 successive FA Cup finals where both clubs have scored, excluding replay. Can Manchester United actually do something? Well, yeah, that's true. They've got Lukaku. Lukaku's going to come on. Romelu Lukaku is stripped and almost ready for action. Big bulky Belgian centre forward, and as that ball came back and fought for a moment, Sanchez was going to get on the end of it there. It was a dodgy little pass back, but thankfully Chelsea have a good goalkeeper there in Thibaut Courtois. Read the situation well. Kante going through the middle. Alonso now with a chance to make it 2. Saved by the keeper at the near post. Alonso goes in again with Smalling. Throws it. Gets the claim handball. It's a corner, but surely should have been 2-0 to Chelsea. And well, are they going to go to VAR here? Well, look at this, an inspired run through the middle by Kante, and then Alonso cut it out from under his feet. She's shot away right-footed, and this should have been 2-0. And then, whoa, well, I tell you what, that's a penalty. Never mind how close it was. He had his arm out voluntarily, and that should be a penalty. Despite the fact it was from close range. Now, what does Oliver do here? Is VAR being called? No, it isn't. Only a corner. Well, the referees have got the opportunity to use VAR in all these sort of things, and they're not doing. That looked a penalty. A Stonewaller. Well, it's still a corner now to Chelsea. They still might profit from this corner. Header 1 in the final penalty area, and it was over the top from Gary Cahill of all people. Spent a year on loan at Burnley a few years ago. Now, this is the incident again. Penalty. I don't care whether it's 2-3 yards out. He's had his hand out voluntarily. The ball's not going that fast. It's probably took an eternity to go up towards his hand. I can understand the referee not giving it if he smashed it towards his hand. There's nothing he could do, get out the way, but he had ample time there to get his hand out the way there, Young. No excuses, that should have been a penalty. But it still remains 1-0 to Chelsea. Should they have had a second penalty? Let me know in the comments section. Here's Jesse Lingard, and a good ball through. Chance here for the equaliser. Rashford saved by Courtois, and it came off Rashford, and behind for the goal kick. Oh, that should have been the equaliser. Let's have a look at that again. I'm looking in on replay. Good ball forward from Lingard. And Rashford's timed his run perfectly. And he's trying to flip it over the goalkeeper. And then the ball's come off Rashford last. And off for a goal kick. And a double substitution being made by Manchester United. Off comes the aforementioned Rashford. He's off the field. And also too is Jesse Lingard. Which means Sanchez will stay. So Rashford being replaced by the big bulky Lukaku, and Anthony Martial, the Frenchman who scored a terrific goal, I have to say, at Turf Moor against Burnley, who was in a good bit of form as well. He replaces Jesse Lingard, who really hasn't had his best match so far. But the two guys then made the chances. The last chance there have come off, but fresh legs could be telling. Chelsea, from my knowledge, yet to make a substitution, but United have responded. I knew they had to change something at some point, and they have done in the grandest of manners. But can they get back into it? They've got less than 13 minutes left. They've got less than 17 minutes, left to play. As Pogba plays the ball in, plus the stoppage time, there might be at least 3 or 4 minutes at the end for that. Here's Alonso, hit the defender. It'll break here for Valencia inside the area. Right hand side of the area. Lukaku ups it on to Valencia. Now Martial turns, shoots, deflected, and taken on the line almost virtually by big 6'6" Thibaut Courtois. But United here in this second half, not giving up, battling hard, not giving in. Easy taking the end for Courtois, but the deflection made it very, very difficult. Now, United have been dominant in the second half, so 4 attempts in all to 12 in United's favour. I'd like to see how many was on target. Off target's been 7 for United and 1 for Chelsea. Now, I'd like to see it on target. Now, this could be an interesting stat. We'll get that to you in just a second. Here's Pogba goes forward for United now. Looks towards Young. And Young now for Martial's pass. Martial gets the ball again for United. Anthony Martial, the Frenchman. I think he's in the French squad to French 23 for the World Cup. Dimitri Payet, for the record, didn't make it because of the injury he sustained on Wednesday night. And as the ball comes forward towards Alexis Sanchez as he crosses that in. That's True Geordie's is to do the True Geordie's doing the cup final, but not for kids. Apparently, according to Panini. But he does it more like Soccer Saturday. We do it like Radio 5 or Talk Sport. We actually do the commentary as well. So we offer far more in terms of commentary than the True Geordie ever did. And that's a foul there. And Giroud has gone down in a heap. Now, was he clipped on behind with the head? Did he get a smack to the head there? Jones has certainly come off worse as well. There was a clash of heads here. Well, Jones hurt himself. Caught the back of Giroud's head. Although Giroud might have made a little bit of a meal of it theatrically. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe not. He looked quite innocuous to start with, but when you got ball physios on, that tells you something, I suppose. Quarter of an hour left to go yet of this final, and it's still not going to be Chelsea's name on the cup. They have, dare I say, one handle on it, but one hand on the handle, one of the handles. But at the moment, you don't discount Manchester United. Remember back in 1999 when they were 1 down and they nearly lost it 2-3 to Bayern Munich, and then he came back with 2 late goals. With Alex Ferguson not present at the game, Mourinho will surely want to win it for the former manager. United have come back on more than one occasion since Ferguson left. Of course, Louis van Gaal led a comeback in his final ever game as Manchester United boss against Crystal Palace. Now there's a bandage going on there for Jones. And there's going to be a third change in both here, and I've just reminded Panini of a horrible memory, and most Gillingham fans won't forget that, will they? They were 2 up and coasted against Man City. Then there was suspect of stoppage time. They gave City that. It looked as if it did look. I mean, watched the game back again. I think Gillingham were robbed by the officials that day. I think the amount of stoppage time that was given was scandalous, and they should never have lost that game, Gillingham. I've got to be honest with you. They should have been in Division 1 that year and not Manchester City. But they went on to win on penalties, sadly, and still roll for Panini and 1 or 2 of the Gillingham fans, and they have my utmost sympathy as an underdog. Because we've all suffered at refereeing decisions against Manchester City, haven't we? Here's Martial for United. Can Young inspire a good cross? And here comes the cross. The ball play back in. Yes, Tony Pulis was the manager there, wasn't he? He's had a failed playoff attempt with Middlesbrough the other night. They lost out to Aston Villa, play Fulham in the final next weekend, of course. And it's a bank holiday of course as well. But here in the in the final of 2018. This is Hazard, whose goal from the penalty spot after 22 minutes looks as if it's going to decide things. Ball towards Fabregas, ushered away now, and here's, well, good tackle there. Nothing wrong with that at all from on Sanchez, and Chelsea still looking to get that second goal, which would surely kill Manchester United off. But at 1-0, it's still 12 minutes plus injury time left to go. It's still very much a dangerous lead. But the argument will rumble on. Whatever happens today, should Phil Jones have gone? Probably the fact that it's an FA Cup final has probably saved his skin. In any other game, though, he would have been sent off. Meanwhile, it's Chelsea still on the brink here of a famous victory. Finished 5th in the league. United finished a distant 2nd behind their neighbours Manchester City. Good turn again by Hazard, the Belgian international. All just been ushered around on the left-hand side, at the left-hand side of the far side as we look. This is Kante. He's won back-to-back Premier League titles with Leicester and Chelsea, and he's 11 minutes away from adding the FA Cup to the list of honours that he's won in the last 3 or 4 years. Also in the French 23 with the forthcoming World Cup finals within a month's time. And here come United once again. Well, the chip forward was Pogba. Pogba now going forward. Pogba now to Young. Young now into the penalty, towards the penalty area. How we could do with an equalising goal now, United. With a chip in there, the goalkeeper having the punch, and he was decisive in that. And then Matic winning the ball back fairly. The referee saying, come on, let's get the game going again. Play on. United now down the far side again. Matic now will try another shot. Matic tries and then punched away by the goalkeeper there. Matic, you can hit them, as we saw last year in the semi-final when he was playing for Chelsea against Tottenham. But Thibaut Courtois knows about this guy, and that was a good piece of goalkeeping there. Just punched it away with his fist. Safety first keeper, but still United piling on the pressure. At 10 minutes to go, we're into the 80th minute. Ball into the penalty area, in towards Pogba, lost control. Pogba comes out to Martial. Martial inside the area, gets his shot off, and it's deflected, and it falls for the goalkeeper, who keeps the ball in play. And Chelsea, for the moment anyway, survive. Oh my word. This final's going to go right to the wire. There may have only been the one goal to talk you through today, but my goodness, there's been great action. Now then, Hazard at the other end. He's got Giroud in the middle. Hazard on the left-hand side. Good skills, but then showed too much of it to Smalling. But Hazard's got the ball back. Hazard still. And now the ball back to Alonso, who's had a marvellous game. Giroud back towards Kante. The FA Trophy tomorrow, of course. Bromley against Brackley Town. That should be a cracker as well. 2 offside there against Giroud. 2 sides that will enjoy their day out here this time tomorrow. Giroud offside. This is Martial though for United. Martial running at the defender. Aspilicueta. Martial's cross deflected behind. It's a corner. United now on the brink. United fans believe once again. Can they get a late equaliser? We'd love this to go. I must admit, I'd love this to go to extra time. Pardon me, wants this to happen. Jones, wouldn't this be a turn up if he equalised? Into the middle he goes, and he was flicked on. Pogba's ball. I think Pogba flicked it on, and it went wide of the target. Oh, what an opportunity. Pogba's little flick, and he was unmarked as well. Should score. Lukaku was there at the back post as well, and so ironically with Phil Jones, that would have been an irony if he'd have gone on the end of that flick from Paul Pogba. And United so close to an equaliser. 8 minutes less than 8 minutes to go here at Wembley, and still it remains 1-0 Chelsea. But United have been so unlucky in this second half. They've really gone for it. Sometimes in cup football, the best team never wins. Remember in '82 when Brazil, who beating teams all but sundry in that World Cup in the group phases, then they had to play off against Italy, who needed to win. And they showed their casualness too much and lost 3-2. And Italy were a good side in those days, and they went on to win the thing. Everyone was raving about Brazil. It wasn't to be. And the FA Vase takes place tomorrow, so it's a double final between Stockton Town and Fatcham Town. Now then, Harbour United got something now for the last 7 minutes. Extra time would beckon if they were to get the equaliser. Lukaku can't control it. And of course, the FA Trophy will kick off at 4:15 tomorrow afternoon. And of course, that's Brackley against Burnley, as Panini and Russ have just mentioned there. Until it's the end of the season. And of course, next week our focus will be on the playoffs and the European Cup final, of course, from Kiev, as Liverpool look to win their 6th European Cup, as a foul has been given there. Foul there on Chris Smalling by Olivier Giroud. Just a free kick. Panini won the FA Vase apparently in 2000 with Deal Town, so I think he's had a taste of the old Wembley there, Panini. I think, if I'm not very much mistaken. Oh, it was knocked down and everybody had to go to Cardiff for the finals, although the FA Vase was played at league grounds for some time. But meanwhile, here at Wembley in the 2018 final, it's 1-0 to United, and what a second half it has been. And he made 12 appearances, but at least he had an appearance at Wembley, which is more than some people can think of. As the shot comes in from Sanchez from 30 odd yards out, and he wants a corner. Referee saying goal kick. Mourinho is a bit more restraint on the far side. Sanchez, who's never lost an FA Cup final, is 5.5 minutes away from losing one here. Here's one matter. Well, there's irony for you. Jones gets in the England squad, but Tarks doesn't. Well, I thought Harry Maguire was undeserving of his place. Tarkowski should have gone for me instead of Harry Maguire, who's had a poor season towards the end with Leicester. And yet you got Tarkowski, who's had a consistent as hell season with Burnley, and that's not because we're Burnley biased. And game that won't be too high up on a lot of people's list unless you're a fan of Sutton United Spartans and Ivory United, and Ivory United won that game 5-2 at Gander Green Lane. Of course, a scene of many FA Cup shocks in years gone by, but here in the FA Cup final, it's Hazard now in the penalty area. Hazard towards the byline. Hazard has to turn back and does well. Good back heel there towards Giroud holding it up, well, rather Fabregas, sorry, holding it up there, and then Jones flicked him over there, but the ball had gone out of play. 4 minutes to go. Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. And Phil Jones, who was very lucky not to be sent off when he gave away a penalty. I'm part of the media team at Highbury United. Well, that explains it then. As I say, Phil Jones, should he have been sent off? Well, that is an absolute disgrace. I think it should have been a red card in the first half, but he's got off now. And United still have 11 men. Here's Martial. But United, to be fair, in the second half have gone at Chelsea. They've gone for the cutthroat. Yet no way through. Matic now, they need something from him. Can he produce his heroics in the semi-final last season against Tottenham? They need something from him now. They need something from Young. Young gets the crossing. The goalkeeper again. And him and running and all of us got in each other's way. What a finish this is. And now Herrera for United. Is it to be there? Yeah. Can they equalise right in the last 3 minutes? Young in space on the left hand side. This needs to be an accurate cross. In towards Herrera, in towards Sanchez. Sanchez, he might make something happen. Martial, little chip. Over and on to the roof of the net. Another chance goal begging for United. Goal kick to Chelsea. 2.5 minutes to go. And Chris is on. My other commentator for the World Cup. Casual Chris is under now. Although we all know him as Matt Claret 94. Chelsea have United work where they want them, forcing them to attack rather than play Mourinho partner bus style. And that's a good summary of what's been a good final. I really have enjoyed it. It's been a good final this year. But only the one goal yet. There's still 2 minutes for United to change all that. Force extra time, possibly penalties. Chelsea are going to make a change here. Lee Mason from Bolton in Lancashire. And it's Morata that's going to come off and replace Giroud. Morata, who cost a whopping £75 million, hasn't hit it off. He's been one of the disappointments of the season. He actually finished behind Glenn Murray of Brighton in the goal scoring charts in the Premier League. And that's how big of a flop he's been, and a disappointment to some of the Chelsea fans this season. But sometimes it takes a good season or two to get into the swing of the league, as Pep Guardiola found out last year. Look what he's achieved this year. Here's Hazard on the far side, and he gets the crossing. Morata waiting in the centre. It's a corner now, and now an opportunity arisen here. I hope this game doesn't go to extra time. I want to watch the John Motson night. But we may well have extra time if things happen here. But it's a Chelsea corner, and Fabregas in no hurry to take this corner. It's gone short this time. Hazard is there. Another throw to Chelsea, or is it to Manchester United? It's to Chelsea, I think. 30 seconds of normal time to go. It's a United throw. I think he's given a free kick actually. Seems to be a bit of a confusion here. Is it a free kick or it's a Chelsea throw? And it's going to be Gary Cahill, the captain, who may well be laying his hands on the sub away in a few minutes' time. Running himself into the ground, but a good, reliable replacement here in Willian as we go towards 90 minutes here at Wembley. And Willian now will come on for the remaining seconds of the game. But there are 5 added minutes. Well, they're not seconds, they're minutes now. And United will be buoyed by that. And a corner to Chelsea. Or is it a throw? It's a throw, in fact. But Chelsea, as I say, will be no rush to take this set play. It's a corner, in fact. It is a corner. I thought my eyes were deceiving me for 1 minute. So we have 30 seconds of the 5. Chelsea 1-0 up. As Willian now, show you a safe pair of hands, plays the ball back. Bakayoko. And Bakayoko now to Willian. Will it be a second one here for Chelsea? Well, it almost was. Bakayoko gets it on the left hand side. Chelsea just need to keep possession. You know, United can break here. And here's Mata. Mata forward, but again into trouble. And just Rudiger doing the safety first job, booted it away. We had a minute of the 5. Chelsea are nearly there. 4 minutes away now from FA Cup victory for the first time since 2012, when they beat beat Liverpool 2-1 in a classic final at Wembley. Another throw to Chelsea. And they're just eating up the seconds here. We've had a minute and a half of the 5. Still 1-0 Chelsea. And here's... that's going to be a United ball, I think. Mourinho knows that time is ebbing away on Manchester United's quest to win the FA Cup. They need an equaliser now, and they're running out of time. 3 minutes they need to score in that time to win the game. Courtois now with his left foot just boots it 3/4 of the way up the field. United so close to defeat here. Smalling with a header on. Is it going to be a similar scoreline to what happened 11 years ago when Drogba scored a late goal. But it's Hazard's 22nd minute penalty. That's the difference here. Here's Mata, the ex-Chelsea man. Could there be a late twist in the tail? There's still... We played halfway through the 5 minutes. Here's Pogba now. Pogba over to the far side. Here's a chance for Valencia. This needs to be a good cross. Tossed in there once more. Header one and wide. And it was Matic now in the 6-yard area over the top. And that, dare I say it, there's still a good couple of minutes left to play. Could that be the goal that wins Chelsea the match? No. Matic against his old team. He's had a good season for United. Thibaut Courtois has been booked. Well, take your time. And JB on BBC. Omar, fantastic. Stay with us for the presentation and the interviews, because there's still more to come. Once the final whistle goes, we'll cover the presentation, of course, of the Cup, and get reaction from the winners, which look like me, Chelsea, at the moment. Unless United can find something in the next 1 minute 20 seconds of the game. 90 seconds remain. Sanchez trying to get in there. United will have another go. It's a corner. Still not over yet. Can Mourinho's men come up with a late equaliser? Can this happen? It's going to have to be a good corner, this now. Towards the far post. He said poor corner. And Thibaut Courtois, the professional he is, takes the ball. Obviously, he's got to be careful. Conte's actually told him to take his time. Remember, the goalkeeper's actually been booked for time wasted. So maybe there's a little element in there. We love you, JB, we do. John for BT Sport, JB for BT Sport. Thank you, guys. Stay with us now for the interviews and presentation, because it's not going to be finished yet, even after the whistle. 30 seconds of stoppage time to play. And I'm going to give the JB man of the match to Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard gets JB man of the match here. But here's William running through the centre. William is there, but good covering there by Juan Mata, who's trying to urge Chelsea to get on with it quickly. But Conte saying just take your time. 5 seconds to go. Chelsea nearly there now. They lost out last year 2-1 to Arsenal when they were expected to win. But it's going to be their year this year. It's going to be a blue day. A penalty which was quite rightly awarded in the 22nd minute, converted by Eden Hazard. United complaining, but I'm sure if they were in that position that Chelsea are in now, they would take their time. As there goes the final whistle. Chelsea are the FA Cup winners, and Antonio Conte, who's had a season of frustration, ends it with a trophy. United finished second in the league and second in the FA Cup final. No trophy for the Red Half of Manchester, but it's blue joy for Chelsea, who take the cup back to West London. And look at the relief on Antonio Conte's face. He's been through the mill in this last 90 minutes. It may have just sounded like a 90 years for him. A whole lifetime. No Wembley heroics this time for Manchester United, who came back from the dead in the semi-final. And, well, Jose Mourinho showing sympathy and coming out with dignity in defeat. But it's Chelsea who win the cup for the first time in 6 years. And as frustration all round, absolutely notice he's furious with Mourinho. I have to say, to be honest with you, United, to their credit, gave it their all in the second half, but just ready to a resolute Chelsea defence, and United had the chances. There's no doubt about that. But it was a definite penalty which decided it in the 21st minute. Given for a foul on Hazard, it was clean through. There will be arguments rumbling on whether whether United should have been reduced to 10 men, and in my opinion they should have been. But the bigger picture will tell you, the history books will tell you that that goal from Hazard was more than enough, as it turned out, to bring Cup glory back to Stamford Bridge. And I have to say, what are United fans? They've left the stadium early, stayed behind and applaud the team. They've given it all in the second half, and yet they are all leaving, and I think that's disgraceful. That's not good for the United fans, I have to say. But it's about the winners. And just look at that. United's emptying very early indeed. Stay and watch the team get their medals. I just don't understand the mentality of United fans. Have a bit of gratitude. The team gave it their all in the second half. It just wasn't enough. Although I am a little bit surprised. I don't think it was a case of not trying. I think it was a case of it just wasn't their day. Although there's a little United fan whose day's been totally made up. He won't remember this for too much longer. He'll remember that moment. I hope to speak to one or two of the winners in just a second or two. They're all congratulating each other, and hopefully we'll get a couple of interviews in before the presentation, of course, where the losers will go up first. As it always is now, and then the winners. And I think the match winner's about to talk to. I think Eden Hazard's about to speak to the TV. So as soon as we get Eden Hazard on the screen, you'll be able to hear from him very, very shortly. But Chelsea the winners by a goal to 0, and he was the man who scored the crucial goal. He was fouled, and he took the penalty, which won Chelsea the trophy. United off the puff, they just didn't have enough, and the scenes of joy here for Chelsea. Well, the old King's Road will be absolutely dancing in the streets in the old King's Road tonight. Olivier Giroud wins the FA Cup again. He's won it 3 times with Arsenal, of course, in 2014, 2015 and of course last season. So let's get some reaction then from, I think it's from Chelsea, and it's the match winner. I think Eden Hazard is ready to speak to. He's ready to speak to Dan Walker. It's Gary Carey actually.
So, how important was it that 15 minutes in the second half of Manchester United really came for you, that you held firm there?
Yeah, right. It was important to keep it tight. We know that when we play with 5 defenders, it's more difficult to put press higher at the pitch because we have one player less, one more at the back. And for the midfielders, it's tough, to be honest. You have to run a lot. But, you know, we did it well. We were compact, disciplined, and in the end, very well deserved victory.
Enjoy the party. We'll see you in the summer of the World Cup, so thank you.
Well, there we are. And the contrast there with the winners and the runners-up. Rashford on his knees. Well, United won the Europa League last season. They won the League Cup here a year and a half ago, but it's not to be today for them, as Chelsea now celebrate with delight. Let's get a word with Seth Fabregas. With Eden Hazard. He's with Gabby Logan.
Today, but I think if we want to win a lot of games, we need to play better because we just played today defensively, and we were lucky to score 1 goal at the end. This is the most important thing. It was a fine night, we just need to win, and we won it, so we are just happy.
You said when I spoke the other day you're considering your future, and that a result today may help you make your mind up. With the atmosphere now, with these players, what are your feelings?
Now I'm just happy to see the fans celebrate the trophy. It's something we like. We didn't play a great season, but at least we finished well. That's the most important thing.
And in the crowd somewhere, 2 of your 3 boys are in there watching you. I'm sure you're very proud.
Yeah, that's why we need to stop interview. I need to say hello to them.
Come on, you go sing, because your magnificent goalkeeper is next to you. Congratulations, that was some performance today.
Yeah, thank you. I think the season has been long, ups and downs. I got a lot of, for not swearing on TV, a lot of bad words thrown at my head after the Barcelona game, so to come back strong mentally, I played some good games last week, I felt good, and to have a performance and a clean sheet today, an important game, and to win my first FA Cup is amazing.
And because of the uncertainty that has been around your manager, finishing outside the top 4 and not defending your title successfully, it felt there was so much riding on today.
Yeah, I think there's all season has been a long season for us with especially in Brazil, speculation about everything, and it's not easy for us. And
we're going to have to break off the Thibaut Courtois interview because the Manchester United are just about to get their losers medals, I should say. I said winners medals. There's Smalling and Martial. They may change it at half time. It just wasn't enough. And there's Jackie Wilkins, who will be giving Gary Cahill the FA Cup in about 2 or 3 minutes from now. David De Gea, who played magnificently, probably United's best player on the day. Bill Jones very lucky to be on the field after giving away the penalty. Russ said, yeah, it'll probably be about 8:30, mate, because I'm going to do some food after we've finished here. As Jose Mourinho, all the dignitaries got caught, the chairman of the Football Association as well. Everyone, Sir Bobby Charlton and his wife. Now Alex Ferguson, of course, after his health scare, and we wish Sir Alex a very speedy recovery. United gave it their all in the second half. It just wasn't enough on the day, and they'll go to the dressing room to curse what might have been. I do think Absolutely Anonymous was a little bit harsh there, because United really gave it their all in the second half. They huffed and puffed. It just wasn't enough, as Antonio Rudiger will pick up the Man of the Match award. I have to say, Eden Hazard was the JB award, because we forgot to include your votes on that. But the cup final it was a tough one to call, really, but in the end, it's gone the way of Chelsea, the 5th place Premier League team. It's gone against United, who had a decent season by their standards. I mean, 81 points I think they finished up with in 2nd place. Would have been enough to win the league on any other season. And then they finished second in this competition as well. There's the blue. I've just seen an image there of the cup with the blue ribbons on it. Chelsea blue. And Chelsea now got the 107 steps to receive the FA Cup, which they first won incidentally back in 1970. Of course, Peter Osgood and that. They won it in 97, 2000, 2007, 2009, 2010, 2012, and now win it again in 2018. They've had to wait 6 years this time before winning it again. But Antonio Conte, well, there's a lot said about his future. Now, league defence didn't work out the way it wanted to. They lost a few high-profile players. They lost Matic to United, funnily enough. They lost Costa halfway through the season. But they had a bit of luck already in getting to Wembley. They were lucky to win against Leicester, I thought. They were lucky to win in the third round against Norwich. Hull were lambs to the slaughter. But it's been an unbelievable run, and it's mere same Antonio Conte's job. Whether he'll be one next season remains to be seen. As the Chelsea side come up, and the captain is now usually the last. It used to be in the olden days the first person up, the captain, would receive the trophy, but it's going to be the last, of course. So Bobby Charlton there in the royal box. A very sporting gentleman right until the last, Sir Bobby. A real lion that gave his heart, but yet still knew how to be dignified in defeat, and he still maintains that belief to this day, even though as a Manchester United director these days. And Carl Canty getting his medal. Really Cabinero, who will count himself unlucky to have played in all the other games, but yet not play in this one. Conte, I think, going all the way to the end there, and the Chelsea players have stopped. So Bacosta's got his medal. Redinger has won a medal in his first season in England. Bakayoko. Nathaniel Chalobah there, former Claret. And there's Redinger there. And Olivier Giroud wins his fourth medal as Messrs Rashford and Lingard look on. Gary Cahill in a moment or two is going to receive the famous old cup from Jackie Wilkins, of course. The widow of Ray. Well, they tried to play a good final in his memory, and I think they didn't let him down. So Gary Cahill will now step forward to receive the cup from Jackie Wilkins, the widow, of course, of Ray, who won the FA Cup as a player in '83 with Manchester United and a coach in 2010 with Chelsea. She's there with the, I think that's a damn heavy cup for Jackie to hold there, but she's going to give it to Gary Cahill in just a second. And there he is, he gets hold of it. It's a heavy cup to lift, but here it comes. He comes through to the front of the crowd scene, and it's going to be Chelsea who lift the FA Cup again. For the 6 years they've had to wait, but they've finally got their hands on that famous old trophy. As I said, winners in 1970, 97, 2000, 2007, 2009, 2010, 2012, and for the 7th time in 2018, Chelsea take the famous old cup back to Stamford Bridge. Gary Cahill, a proud captain, having taken over the captaincy this season for keeps from John Terry. What a proud moment to him to receive it from Jackie Wilkins, the widow, of course, of Ray. And what a fitting way to end this FA Cup. Usually it's Prince William that doles out the prizes, but he's been otherwise engaged today. There's Olivier Giroud, a little lift for the cup there for them. It's Chelsea's day, and well, they played it right tactically. I think Antonio Conte played the perfect game. It was a game of cat and mouse. Mourinho went for it in the second half, but his United team just couldn't break them down. And in the series of cup finals between these two great big clubs, Chelsea lead 2-1 in the series. United won it in '94 against them, and then Chelsea won it in 2007 with a late Didier Drogba goal. And today it needed another 1-0 victory from Chelsea, and they lead 2-1 now in the series of cup finals between these two clubs. United end is virtually non-existent. They've all gone home. Not United fans need to be criticised for that, because they should have appreciated the team and got them, because they gave it their all in the second half. There's no doubt about that. Casual Matt Claret has been on. We know him as Matt Claret. I know it says Casual Chris, but he says if United repeat what they have done this season, I would expect Chelsea will be out of a job. Well, another season they could have won 2 trophies. But United will have to have a big window. So will Chelsea, of course, way off the pace in the league, but not in the cup. The cup is a completely different animal. United fans have gone. The Chelsea fans are still there, as they get the shake of the hands as they come down the long walk down from the World Box. It used to be 39 steps at the old Wembley. I'm whopping 107 these days. London's finest specialises silverware, one banner says. And here's the losing manager, Jose Mourinho, now.
I don't think they deserve to win. I congratulate, because I am a sportsman, and they score 1 more goal than us, and they get the cup. And I think I have to do what my job asks me to do. I am a Manchester United manager, and I have to be respectful, not just because they were my previous club, but because they are the opponent that won the cup. But I think we deserve to win. I think we were the best team, but that's football.
What was the difference then? Because in that second half we saw your team really go for it.
I'm quite curious to know what you say, what people write. I'm quite curious about, because I can imagine if my team played like Chelsea did, I can imagine what everybody was saying. So I'm quite curious, but you know, in this moment I'm in holiday. I gave everything I could. I know that the players today, they gave absolutely everything. It was a bit hard for us to play without Lukaku against a team that defend with 9 players. You need that presence in the box that we didn't have for a long time. But we did everything. We try absolutely everything. So it's the kind of defeat that obviously hurt, like every defeat hurts. But I go home with the feeling that we gave everything. So no regrets.
It's interesting you say that, and you're wondering how it will be taken, because in our studio, Alan Shearer and Ian Wright are saying that in the post-match interviews, Gareth Cahill, Cesc Fabregas and Rudiger all saying that they did play very defensively today.
They did, and we knew that. We knew that this is the way they normally play, with a little bit more of ambition in their counter-attack. But I think today, especially after the 1-0, they were really, really defensive. I think they are not stupid. They know that our team without Lukaku, we don't have a presence. Our team without Fellaini, we don't have a presence. So by agglomerating 8-9 players in front of the box, they knew that they were going to be dominant in that direct football. We had to try. We try everything. We try by other ways, but there were a huge block, compact of players in front of their goal. A part of that, Courtois had a couple of saves. We were unlucky with some balls in the box. The Paul header is an important one. Rashford's shot is another one. But for me, the image of the game is that David De Gea didn't touch the ball. We touched the ball to grab the ball in the net. But you know, sportsman, and the team that scored 1 more goal wins. That's why I congratulate them.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, there is a disappointing manager, but then he's showing great sportsmanship. But having said that, the champagne is flowing here at Wembley now. The Chelsea confetti is gone off big time here. And Antonio Conte, well, it's been a frustrating season for him in the league. But then again, in the Cups, it's been a totally different story. They were probably just about worthy their win, and that is the way it finished. So a 22nd minute goal was enough on the day to send Chelsea towards victory here. A tremendous occasion it was, and I hope the enjoyment of the first half, as I say, wasn't spoilt by a certain person that absolutely that absolutely nearly spoilt the whole thing for us. But thank you very much for those that listened and have tuned in. We couldn't have done it without you guys. We know that, and it's always good to see in that. But Chelsea, the winners here at Wembley today. What a match it has been! I've absolutely loved every minute of it. I hope you guys have too. It's been a magnificent day in Wembley, and well, it's only just kicking off here. The celebrations will continue longer tonight in West London. As for us, we move on next week. It's playoff time, and then the European Cup final a week today. Join me as I talk you through the 2018 European Cup final from Kiev between Liverpool and Real Madrid. Liverpool looking to win their sixth European Cup. Can Jurgen Klopp's do it? You can find out with us next week on the JB Clark YouTube channel. But here at Wembley today, it wasn't United's day, obviously. They had chances in the second half, but just didn't take them. But in the end, it's all about Chelsea. They're the cup winners for the 7th time, and in my opinion, a very much deserved one as well. Thank you very much for listening to it all. From me, JB, take care. Good night.